Welcome back to the channel, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Today we are going to have an interview with Luc Jodet. Luc Jodet, he is the co-founder of Ariane. It is a luxury protocol backed by blockchain. What are they looking to do? Well, say for example you have a Breitling watch or a Rolex watch and you want to prove that it's verifiably real. Well, this blockchain allows you to create a NFT asset that allows it to be verified on the blockchain to verify it's real. Now, who is Luc Jodet? Well, he is also the founder of Bioeco. It's basically a renewable energy marketplace. Luc has been in the blockchain sphere, I'd say, about since 2013, and you can actually visit his LinkedIn page and his bio. And he's been working on the Bioeco project since 2014. So, guys, without further ado, let's start the interview. First off, let's start with this. Why and how did you hear about blockchain? You were
First time I
so interested in it, like what made you go down the rabbit hole?
Absolutely. So the first time I heard about blockchain, it was because of Bitcoin, of course, and I think it was 2013. Uh, the Silk Road kind of bust, in this entire scandal with the the owner and the FBI bust. It's kind of what I think put Bitcoin in all the major press and newspapers. But I have to admit that in 2013, Bitcoin and Bitcoin in general didn't really interest me. I'm an entrepreneur at heart, and I did not really see, what was so appealing with Bitcoin. There was nothing I could build on. So I mean, I own some Bitcoin, but as an entrepreneur, it was not something that really got me, really moved me. However, when Ethereum came about, that's really when it all kind of started making sense. The blockchain aspect of it, the idea of that distributed computer, became something that I got really interested in. What happens is that so Ethereum comes out 2015. I'm somewhat interested, but still not quite down the rabbit hole. But at the time, I had a company that was a renewable energy marketplace, and that company and we a big part of what we were doing had to do with energy traceability. And in 2016, I started getting calls asking me, "Oh, you do energy traceability? You must be doing blockchain." And I was like, "No, I don't." But at that time, for some reason, there was a narrative that said energy traceability is an amazing application for blockchain. So I went down a bit down the that application for a while, but my conclusion is really that actually blockchain is not a good application for energy traceability. Won't go into too many details of that, but I can definitely explain why all the different intricacies of the electricity markets make a blockchain really a poor applications for that. However, that's really when I actually, went down the rabbit hole and became really interested in the actual underlying technology, the blockchain and Ethereum in particular.
Right.
So that's when I started looking for an actual application, and that's actually when I found an application that makes sense because I don't think that everything will be on a blockchain. I think that there are applications that make sense for blockchains and others that don't. And the one that we do with INE, and I met my co-founders in 2017, is one that I actually think really makes sense.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I really like the I like to call it a product, but I would say your solution that you created for a massive problem. I mean, not trillions, but well, actually, no, I believe it is almost trillions. I mean,
So I
up
mean,
until now.
yeah, yeah. I mean, counterfeiting is a $1 trillion problem for sure. Now, this being said, I mean, counterfeiting is a small aspect of what we do, and we help in that respect. We don't actually pretend to solve it though. It's
Right.
really it helps quite a lot. We replace certificates of authenticity. Now, what we're really interested in, which is another $1 trillion or multi-trillion-dollar market, is what we call augmented ownership. So it's what
Really?
can you do when you take a physical object and you give it a digital identity and you really augment it and enable it to have a life in the digital world. And here, plenty of different applications. Some kind of basic that we've already seen and already are working on, which is like e-warranty, which is actually quite interesting that we're doing with Breitling, where it really enables them to have an entire anonymous clienteling system, because you have your digital passport without giving, and you just own it the same way you own a Bitcoin, just because you have a private key. And but however, they can actually get in touch with you, just because they, and be sure that you are the current owner of the product, just because you actually own the certificate, and you don't need to give any personal information about it. There are other cool applications, such as one-click insurance, facilitating resale, which we do with Bash at the moment. But there are also some more, let's say, advanced and things that I'm really fascinated by, which is like, you wear your sneakers in the street, but you spend almost as much time in digital world, especially now with COVID, and you probably spend more time in front of your computer and on digital worlds, or virtual worlds, than you do on the street. So why couldn't you actually wear those sneakers both in the real world and in virtual world? And that, to
That's
me,
so
is like one
true.
of the mind-blowing applications that's possible with IRN certificates.
So you're thinking, so like I know they have a couple of them like Decentraland, they have Sand,
Of course.
they have different in-game video game style things. So you're
Yeah,
thinking like to bring like luxury brands like Breitling onto the blockchain, or not
absolutely.
the blockchain, but like inside those video games.
So inside those games, so we create like a digital passport for those products, and then it's just a matter of actually adding the 3D model to the NFT, and then you would be able to use it, either in Decentraland, in Roblox, in any of those worlds that are open. The
Wow,
sandbox,
that's
of course, is
crazy.
another one. This being said, like Fortnite would be an amazing thing. The only thing with Fortnite is that at the moment it's a closed environment, but Fortnite potentially could be also one.
So when do you plan on rolling this out, or is this something that's already working?
So it's not working at the moment. It's still something that we're building, but we're actually we have a first brand to that is trying to get that off the tracks, and we hope to have some announcements in this year.
Really? Okay. I noticed you guys have a couple of different exchanges, not really any major exchanges, so you don't really see anything
Not
like
yet.
Binance. Are those in the plans?
So absolutely, we listed first on decentralized exchanges, because really it's our DNA. I mean, really the entire protocol is decentralized, and we really want it that way. And so we wanted it to have dexes ready with sufficient liquidity. And now, after 4 months of trading, which we listed in November, we have across the different dexes, we have about $2 million worth of liquidity, and so we have, I think, a solid enough, and between 500, half a million, and $1 million worth of volume per day on average. And now we have a solid base that we can actually then go to a centralized exchange. I really believe in the idea of bootstrapping liquidity for tokens,
Okay,
and I really think you need to start with dexes, build the liquidity there, and then you can go to centralized exchanges. So we have some discussions with. Actually, we had several discussions with second tier exchanges, and we just started having actually some advanced discussions with a top tier exchange. So
interesting.
it's not going to happen next week, but in a few weeks, I'm hoping this will be fruitful.
Yeah, a lot of people do the opposite. They pump the coin up like crazy, announce all this kind of stuff, and people do more research on it. It's like, well, you're just pumping air. There's nothing there, and then it just dumps. So it's good to see you guys are building and not going off the narrative of, hey, let's shoot it to the moon and just explode it.
Yeah. So really, our thing has been, I mean, we're all, we're 5 co-founders. You have our first name, last name, and it's probably not that difficult to find our address. And we are, I mean, we're public. We're well-known entrepreneurs. Actually, we're entrepreneurs that have several exits between the 5 of us, and we started that in 2017, and we've been building for the last 4 years, throughout the difficulties of the bear market. And now, yeah, it's a bull market, and everybody wants to pump everything to the moon. But we've been here for 4 years. We're still going to be here for at least another 4. I think this morning, what's his name, Gary Vaynerchuk,
Yeah, Vaynerchuk. Yeah,
Vaynerchuk, Gary Vaynerchuk. Yeah. So this morning, Gary Vaynerchuk just posted a tweet that said, stop building NFTs for the next 45 minutes, build them for the next 45 years. Well, we're 4 years in, 41 to go.
Yeah, Gary is he's crazy about NFTs, man. He went down the rabbit hole. It happens, man. Tell me about yourself. I haven't asked you
Uh,
already. We're already 15 minutes in, man. I'm not the best at interviews. I have ADD, so it's hard for me to focus sometimes, but I try to get all the information out there that I can, but it comes
the
out
important
eventually.
thing, the important thing is to have good information and not necessarily have it follow the script. It's nice to actually let it flow. So about me, so as I said, repeat entrepreneur. This is my third venture. As I explained earlier, I really got interested in it because first of energy traceability, and then really became a hook because of the technology and the possibility. What I'm really interested in here is really this aspect of a decentralized computer. I'm really interested in the composability of blockchain. We're actually thinking right now as to how you can use, as I explained, so you can use our NFTs in other protocols, so whether it's another virtual world, but also you can imagine it, with an insurance protocol, with a DeFi protocol such as Aave or MakerDAO or some of those. Like you could actually imagine using those NFTs as collateral for loans on those platforms. So really, that's what gets me going in the blockchain sphere is this those opportunities that are really amazing that have been unleashed and enabled by public blockchains, and I would say the Ethereum ecosystem in particular.
That's crazy. Yeah, I greatly agree with that. But I do have two things I want to say about that.
Yeah.
I know you mentioned DeFi. Where would you get the value of the NFTs? I've heard some rumors that some people they use, I don't know if that is true or not, but it would make sense.
Mhm.
Some people use NFTs for money laundering. Like some of them get their value to be able to
Mhm.
send money to someone, like they just draw up like a gray
Yeah.
square or something goofy and just pay millions of dollars for it. They could use it for money laundering. But what really draws the value of an NFT?
So the money laundering question, honestly, everything's used for money laundering. I mean, restaurants are used for money laundering. The vouchers at eBay are used for money laundering. I mean, there's luxury goods are actually used for money laundering sometimes. Like you have some people that buy a really expensive handbag and bring it back to actually be able to resell it in a different country at a price, just in order to get the cash through custom. So there's money laundering. It's like everything can be used for money laundering. So to me, it's like this is more about the processes that you actually set in place that are important in checks, and AML is so anti-money laundering is a big aspect of what I've had to deal with our crypto, all the crypto side of what we're doing. But the other aspect that you're saying is like what brings the value of an NFT. Well, I think here, NFT is just an underlying technology, and the same way paper is a technology. And so, a piece of paper, if it has it can be just a $100 bill. It can be just a note that you write that has no value. It can be a lease or on an apartment. It can also be something, a drawing by Picasso, and be worth millions of dollars. So the NFT side of things is like it's just a medium. Now the question is what you put on top of it. We actually use it as really like a proof of ownership of your physical product. And here, what it means is it's your way to actually prove that you own something scarce. And that in the luxury industry, especially in kind of like the new luxury of kind of the new generation luxury. So all the streetwear, the brands like Supreme, like Off-White. The main thing about those brands is scarcity. It's the drop.
That's
It's the
true.
fact that there are only a few of those items. And so the important thing is almost not necessarily the object itself. It's the fact that you can prove that your product, your Supreme T-shirt, is actually one of the few hundreds that were produced. And that's where the NFT actually comes really handy and can draw some the value. Is because at some point the NFT becomes more valuable than the actual product, because the important thing once again is to show that you own a limited edition of this or that. And one thing that I find really interesting with what Beeple said. So Beeple is really on the art scene. And as you know, art, and he sold like a piece for $69 million.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Uh, where does it is it worth $69 million? Probably not. How much is it worth? I'm incapable of telling you. It's worth whatever someone paid for. But what was interesting in what he was saying was the idea that he made a bunch of sales of physical copies of his art, and it came with an NFT, and that NFT. And what he said was, if you lose the actual physical piece, and you still have the NFT, I will replace the physical piece, no problem. If you lose the NFT and you still have the physical piece, I'm not replacing the NFT, because the NFT is the true value
Right, right.
of what I'm building.
I heard
And
about
that I
that with.
think
Go ahead.
and that I think is really going to become kind of is a way to the future of, like, ultimately that proof of ownership is becoming what is the most valuable, because you want to show that you own something scarce.
That's true, and it's like a social thing. I mean, we use all this Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all this stuff,
Mhm.
and it's almost like, okay, well, you take pictures of yourself at like the beach or doing something cool, or like holding a bunch of cash, and then it's almost like a status symbol. So with the NFT, it's almost like a public status symbol that's proven, because a lot of
Mhm.
people see all this social media and are like, oh, that's not a real life. But if you have an NFT, it can prove it. But
Yeah.
a quick question on that Beeple. I know it sold for 69 million. So say that sold for 69 million and you wanted to bring that to like a platform like Aave or Compound. Do they
Mhm.
value it at 69 million right there, or do they just say, "Oh,
So
well,
no, so I think that the most difficult part here with a piece of art is that it's a unique piece, meaning it has a value because at some point there was a transaction. However, it has no liquidity because it's been sold once in the last 3 months, or maybe once in its lifetime. Well, actually, this particular piece was sold, I think, 2 months before for $700,000. There were two transactions in 2 months, and that's definitely not a liquid thing. And for to be used as collateral for something like Aave, or MakerDAO, you would need something that's much more liquid. This being
right."
said, here there are some things that could be done for NFTs, and I think a good example is what's been done with B20. I don't know if you follow what the B20 token is, or what the whale token is,
I know
and it's the
there's
idea of
ERC20, but I haven't heard of the B20.
yeah. So the idea is that, so the B20 is like a guy bought a bunch of Beeple pieces and put it in a smart contract,
Oh,
and issued like a limited amount of ERC20 tokens, and you can actually buy the tokens, and you own a share of the underlying NFTs that are in there. And so the NFTs stay in there, and it's kind of like an investment vehicle, if you want, and they stay in there, and you own a share of whatever all those tokens, all those NFTs are. And then with your B20 token, though, it's just a proof of it's like a in a way, it's a share into this pool of token of NFTs. And while the NFTs in there, are not liquid because they're not
right.
bought and sold. However, the tokens, the B20 tokens, they're bought and sold constantly. And then now you've actually made those NFTs liquid, and you can actually use them as an underlying, collateral for a loan on Aave, MakerDAO, or Compound, and so forth.
Okay, that makes sense. So they would theoretically be labeled because they're an ERC20 token and they have a value that is traded. So say they're worth like 300 bucks, it would give you that
Mhm.
value just like one Ethereum is it's currently like 1,800 bucks, and you put that on the
Yeah.
MakerDAO, you're going to
And
get that collateral.
and once again, the important thing is liquidity, meaning it needs to be traded. So if you just issue 100 of those and it's sold once, it's still not liquid. What you want is that
Right.
it's constantly bought and sold all day long, and that's what's happening with B20. And I'd have to take a look on Uniswap how much they trade, but it's like several hundreds of thousands of dollars of B20 being traded every day. So you start having actually a good level of liquidity, to considered as a liquid asset, meaning that if someone's loan is actually liquidated, the executor of that liquidation is actually quite certain that he will he will reimburse himself.
That makes sense. That makes sense. So I know I've heard of another one. I know there might be two of them. There's one called Whale and then
Yeah.
Arte. Have you heard of those two?
Now, what's the third one? Sorry.
ARTE or ARATE, like Arte.
I don't know that one, but for sure, I'm sure it's going to become actually more and more. I'm sure there are going to be more and more of those because it's really it's a way to actually make NFTs liquid. And today, as we mentioned, NFTs are not liquid, and it's quite difficult to actually ensure that it has sustained value. But if
Right.
you start tokenizing, if you start actually like pulling it into a fund or
Like an
a
index
smart
fund,
contract.
just like the S&P 500. You just get a bunch of
Absolutely.
NFTs, and yeah,
Yeah.
that
Well,
makes sense.
yep. Or let's say a real estate, real estate fund. Like you put a real estate and you can have a share of that real estate fund. Then you're not necessarily owning, you're owning a 1% of a building, but it's the fact that it's being traded that's really important because it
That's
means
true.
that there's a strong market for the underlying asset that you're using a collateral.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, so we answered the DeFi. There was a second point that you made. Um, you mentioned that okay, it's being used in DeFi, but the second was being used in video games or like in Sand or Decentraland.
Yeah, of course.
Not maybe not Fortnite, but how would that actually happen? Like, do they communicate with? Well, I guess it is decentralized Sand and Decentraland, so they can't really control that. But how would you develop a technology or a solution to be able to bring like your Breitling watch onto you in the video game?
All right, here that's quite. It really depends on the video game, of course, because the universe actually has its own its own code and its own way of working. But whether on Roblox or Decentraland, you already have those people displaying NFTs, their NFT collections in specific galleries, and all you have to do is just get the information that's on the NFT. Usually, it's like a static image or a little video, and you just add it to the world as an item. Now you can imagine this with a watch, a pair of sneakers, a bag that would be just on the wall or as a display. And you could imagine even having a sale where you're entering a virtual shop and looking at all those different products before you buy them.
Right.
Then there's a second aspect, which is actually wearing them on your avatar. And then
Yeah.
here it really depends on which game you're in, because the sandbox, it's actually avatars that are like pixelated with big pixels. So you would need a specific file format to have your product be kind of like in the same pixelated form
Right.
as you have in a sandbox. If you're in Decentraland, you would have to have an image that's a bit different. But our file format for the NFTs that we create, you can actually add plenty of different files to the NFT. That's not an issue. So you could have you could add a file format for Decentraland, another one for Roblox, and so on and so forth. So you have like the correct file for the correct world you want to go in.
That's crazy. I mean, so say I'm in this video game. I sell my Breitling watch to someone inside the video game. Do I have to ship them the watch, or do they just own the rights to the NFT? I mean,
Well, here it really depends. I mean, what we really do is that we strongly believe that what we try to do is to bring the physical into the digital. And so, if you were to sell your NFT, of course, you would need some kind of insurance or system that ensure that you actually receive the physical watch as well, because it's really
right,
important. And that's where we actually work. When I say we facilitate secondhand markets, we actually already work with some secondhand markets that could do like the escrow, that could be a facilitator of that trade on the physical side of things, and we would take care of the digital side of things. But that's why once again, we really think that the NFT is not the only thing. It's like it's also how it's built with other actors, actors in the secondhand market that can also do this those other aspects that still require some carbon
yeah,
to be in the real world and get things done in the carbon world, not just the silicon world.
that makes sense. Okay, so you have that feature where okay, so there's going to be like not on chain, but an off chain solution to where it actually says, okay, look, this is kind of like a physical world type of thing. So I'm assuming that's where I'm going to say it wrong, Ariane or AR
Ariani. Yeah.
Ariani. So
Yeah.
that's where it comes into play. So
Uh,
Is that assumption correct, or is that wrong?
Ariani is really like the digital passport for the product. That's really
Okay.
where it's useful. And then anybody can actually build on top of it, meaning anybody can actually build a bridge that enables you to use that NFT in another world. Because
Okay.
those passports are completely open. So as long as the owner of the passport says yes, you can get the information on the passport, then any developer can build something that leverages the Breitling certificates, the Vacheron Constantin certificates, the Satoshi Studio certificates that we have for their sneakers, all those different products. You can just build something that brings those physical products to your digital world if the current owner of the product is okay with it.
That makes sense. Okay, so that basically just gets rid of that question. The other question I was going to have is, okay, so does that make you somewhat centralized if you have to verify it off chain? But I guess you're just basically the passport for it. So that kind of
Yeah.
gets rid of
So
that. Okay.
we're deployed on a public blockchain, so sidechain of Ethereum with a public blockchain. Anybody can access it, read it, have their own node. And the only place where we're somewhat centralized is at the creation of the NFT.
Right.
Anybody can create an NFT. You can do it tomorrow. It's actually quite easy. You can just look at our technical documentation, and I'm a terrible terrible coder, and I was able to do it. And we have a lot of things that explains how to do it. But to have a verified brand, on our to have a verified brand on our platform, then we have a system of staking and know your business check, meaning we have to check that if you say, oh yeah, this is a Rolex, and I'm creating an NFT or a digital passport for a Rolex, we are going to actually check that if you want the verified brand that says Rolex, we will have to check that you are actually authorized by Rolex to create an NFT for them,
That
meaning
makes
you're an
sense.
employee of the company and you have all the proper validations on that end. Meaning this way, the NFT that comes in is, we're sure it's authentic. And then, of course, once that NFT is created and sure it's authentic because of the identity validation of the creator, then it's completely open. Meaning the owner, when he received the NFT, he can transfer it to whoever he wants, share the information with whoever he or she wants, and do really whatever he likes with it. The same way you would with a paper passport. When you have a paper passport, you do whatever you want. Nobody can tell you what you can
Right.
and cannot do with it. Well, that's the beauty of blockchain assets, is the fact that it's just like a physical passport, but in the digital world, which a record on a centralized database is not.
That's true. And a lot of people make the defense like, oh, what if the internet goes down, then your thing's lost? Well, it's the same concept with your painting or your actual product that you have. Well, what if it gets burnt in a fire? I mean, it's kind of like you can make defenses
Absolutely.
either way. Nothing is foolproof. And
Yeah.
anyways, if the internet goes down, I mean, it's kind of like, well, then it's kind of like every man for themselves at that point, in my opinion, because it's like we've been so trained with the internet and all kinds of technology, and we lose the technology. I don't think we'll know what to do. But
Right.
hey, that's just my opinion.
No, I agree with you. I think tomorrow, I'd rather actually lose maybe maybe not have any oil than losing the internet. I mean, like not being able to have a car might be actually less painful, or a car, or any mode of transportation that works with oil might be actually easier to survive than losing the internet.
Yeah, it's sad, but it's very true. So I gotta ask you. All right, so the French invested 8.5 or no 9.5 or 8.5. I think it's
So 8 million
9.5.
euros, yeah. That's it, 8 million euros, $9.5 million, yeah.
Why? I mean, I
So
well, after doing more research, I know why, but I'm saying like, why did they choose you over anyone else? I mean, I know there's a chain out there, Luxo, and they're partnered with you,
of course,
and
yeah.
they're using you.
So so we have several investors, and we have several VCs, including Isaí, which is one of the probably the best seed investor or seed VC in France. We also have Signi Labs, which was started by the co-founder of Ledger, and we have Noya Capital, which is a Belgian crypto fund, and we also have, of course, BPI, which is the public investment bank in France. And I mean, all those actors really put money in because they believe in what we've actually built over the last 4 years. They see they see something really interesting, of course, in the underlying technology. They really are interested in the idea of a digital passport. But I mean, beyond that, they also see what we've been able to achieve with all the different brands we've attracted, what we've already delivered. I mean, once again, we're an overnight success that was 4 years in the making. So
Yeah.
it's they're also investing in our track record, not just the potential of the technology. So it's really both aspects.
Oh no, I mean, I love the products you guys created. I love the idea you guys came up with. It's so well needed and it's awesome. I actually went to Germany. No, it was, yeah, Germany and Italy. And here in the United States, we can't get, well, I mean, you can get a fake Rolex, but it's a lot more scrutinized. But over there,
Yeah,
that you can just go in the, what is, not tents, they call them the markets or something. And you can walk in there and they have guys on the side who are like Rolex Breitling, and it's like
yeah, I've
30
seen that. Yeah,
bucks, 50 bucks, and it's like, oh yeah, I'll take
but
one.
yeah, but this being said, it's like, this is in particular the part of counterfeiting that, our solution and actually no anti-counterfeiting solution will solve.
Oh
Because when
no,
you go to
I
those
know
markets,
that.
when you go to those markets and you buy a $30 Rolex, I mean, you damn well know you're not buying a real Rolex. The risk that we're actually helping is more like you're buying, a secondhand Rolex from someone that looks, kind of legit,
Right, that's what I'm
um,
saying is I get it
and
from
then they're
Europe.
sold as super fake. Yeah.
But that's what I was saying. You get it from someone in Europe, and then you come back
Yeah.
to the States, and people are like not used to it, and you're like, yeah, here's my Rolex for $10,000. It's 10,000 cheaper. Why don't you buy it?
Yeah.
Well, with the NFT, the solution you guys created, you can prove it. That's
Absolutely.
why
Absolutely.
you guys are like mind blown. It's awesome. I want to say congrats to you, man. Thank you. I
Thank you very
really
much.
appreciate the solution you guys created. It was much well needed.
Thank you very much, and thank you for all the good work you're doing, spreading the word about different solutions. I've seen what you've done with Luxo, and as you said, we're partnered with Luxo. Really interested in what they're building on the really Fabian. Fabian is one of our advisors on the project
Yeah, I
since day
saw that.
one, and we're really fascinated in what he's building at the moment. I talked with him 10 days ago about gave me kind of an update on the tech they're building. It looks awesome. We're waiting eagerly for their layer one for their first public testnet, and so really interested in that, of course. And once again, really thank you for talking about Ariane. It's I'm really happy that you're actually were interested in it.
No, I'm very interested. I'm glad to be able to have you on the channel, be able to have an interview with you. Just have like three more questions, and
Of course. Sorry. Yeah.
I know, no, three more questions. I know you got to run. I'm trying to slap them out as quick as I can. But
No worries.
first off, is I know Fabian came into it, or not came into it, but he's kind of helping you out with it, and he's the creator of the ERC20 token standard. Um,
Yeah.
are you guys planning on making your own chain, or are you going to go to layer two solutions, or
No,
stay
no.
with Luxo?
So the reason why Luxo, the reason why we're interested in Luxo is because it is one of the different blockchains that we could deploy on potentially. Today we're already on a layer two solution. So we're both on Ethereum and a layer two solution. And our vision at the moment is either Ethereum 2.0 comes about, or one blockchain, kind of takes it away, and maybe it's Luxo, maybe it's Ethereum, maybe it's Matic. I just, we don't know at this level at this moment. So the way we see what we're building right now is mainly is more being a multi-chain a protocol, meaning
Okay.
deploying on different chain and just ensuring compatibility between the different chains. And we are, I mean, we are a set of smart contracts. We're a DApp, if you want. What used to be called a DApp,
Right,
but
right.
we're a bit more than a DApp because we're like a protocol that actually requires a bit more than just a one smart contract. But we're a set of smart contract that enables you to create those certificates, and those smart contracts can be deployed on any Ethereum chain. So whether it's Luxo, Ethereum, Matic, XDAI, the all we need is a virtual an Ethereum virtual machine, and we're good to go. So we at this moment we don't plan to actually launch our own blockchain, because I think it's a different business than what we're doing,
Okay.
and that's also why, as I mentioned, us and Luxo are complementary.
That makes sense. That makes sense. All right, so second question. I saw the tokenomics. I saw what you guys have. I know you guys have a cap of 200K, or I'm sorry, 200 million.
Yeah.
So with that cap in mind, how would you have the network secure if there's people staking for the nodes? Are they going to be compensated with fees? I mean, are the fees going to be enough?
So today, what we have, so our circulating market cap is 25.7 million,
Hmm.
and really what the undervaluing, the underlying value of the token, or what really what sustains the token, is the demand from brands. Brands, when they use the protocol, when they create a certificate, they actually have to pay in ARIA 20, and so what underlies the entire the entire value of the token, and also of all the incentives that are generated by the token, because every fee that is paid is redistributed to different stakeholders. The only thing that underlies this is how many brands actually use the protocol and how many products we can add to the protocol. So that's really the key factor. And our number one mission is adding more, more users, more brands, more people, and more usage. And really the value of the token and the security and the incentives, more than the security, because we really rest on the underlying security of the, on the security of the underlying blockchain. But really what sustains the more the incentives that are created in the protocol, in the tokenomics, to encourage more people and more developers to come build on top of our digital passports, is just having more and more brands adding products and using the platform. And once again, that's really the core thing and our core mission, and what we've been trying to really do for the last 3 years.
Right. So they see it works, they see a working product, and more people would be interested. So
Yeah.
I saw one where you had Tesla, like opening a Tesla and selling. That was really interesting. You think a Tesla
So
partnership might come out?
if you have a hookup with Elon, then give him my cell phone number, or I'd love to. Yeah, so that was kind of a hack that we did, like we did a little hack with Alex, my co-founder and CTO, who had just bought just received his Tesla Model 3, and he was like, I'm sure I can actually hack their well, not hack, but use their system, their online key system, to actually plug it into our passports, and be able to open our my car with the Aliani app and with a passport. And the main thing of it was that he actually created a certificate that enabled to do this, and he would send it, and he sent it on the video. You can see that he sent it to
Yeah,
me for a limited amount of time, and then with my application, with the NFT under it, I could actually open the car and drive off with it. But then, after the test, he just said, okay, well, now I'm getting the certificate back, and I didn't have the NFT anymore, couldn't open the car, couldn't drive it. So it really was a way for us to show the different application possibilities that happen when you have a peer-to-peer NFT. And the really interesting thing with this is that the what was happening here, there are apps actually that enable you to do the same thing, but here it was just the NFT that did that. So it means completely peer-to-peer. There was no centralizing actor that built the app that had any potential control over your car at some point, because it was only linked to the NFT.
that's true. That's true.
Mhm.
Okay, so I know you've been working on this project for 4 years now. Where do you guys see yourself 4 years from now? Do you see a lot more partnerships? Do you see Rolex coming on? Do you see Louis Vuitton? Do you see them contact, or are they already contacting you?
So so I can't say anything on which brands are working or about to work with us, until they actually agree on all the communication. It's one of the difficult parts of our job is we have a complete what do you call that,
All work, no
complete
play, right?
well, no, it's just we have complete embargo on communication on
Right,
all the
right.
different brands that we are actually doing pilot projects with, until they decide to communicate. So there are plenty of brands that we are already doing pilot projects with and that are not public. Plenty of brands that are contacting us. It's just until they agree to communicate the same way Breitling, Vacheron Constantin, Bash, and all the other ones that are on our website have accepted to communicate. I'm not at liberty to discuss. However, yes, we have a lot of interest, and especially since actually, sadly, since the beginning of COVID, one thing that luxury brands really identified is the idea that you cannot actually meet in physical worlds. Therefore, the digital world is going to be the way out of this entire thing. And so
Right.
we had an awful lot of brands reaching out to us, in April, May of last year. And it's actually also one of the reasons why our business really picked up while a lot of the world was not going well, is because digital was seen as a way out. And it's also a big part what led to the fundraise at the beginning of this year is because so much interest from brands.
Right.
But in 4 years, to answer your question, we hope to have all of the luxury industry. Like we're really like an open protocol, so we anybody can build, and we cannot be bought or by an Amazon. It's it's completely centralized. Anybody can build on it. So we hope to have the entire luxury sector on there, but we also want to start working on other industries. So the wine and spirit industry is one that we're really interested in. Cosmetics, really interested in. As you mentioned, Tesla, automotive is really interesting to us as well. And then even some food products could be a good application. And honestly, like whatever industry for who it at some point makes sense. It's like we're not limited to the luxury and fashion industry. We really think that there's plenty of other applications for our technology and for our protocol beyond just those kind of first go-to-market, because that's really our
Right.
first go-to-market industry.
Yeah, I heard Ravencoin, they were tokenizing like wine bottles. I'm not sure if you heard of it or not.
Yeah, I
Um,
think I've heard of Raven. There was Everledger as well. Did that. And there are a few people that did it, for sure.
so do you have a couple of major competitors, or you guys take up the big share of it?
So we see a lot of people trying to build things like us. The real question you should ask yourself when you see someone that says that they do something like us, and then there are a lot from the top of my head, like the Goods ID, VeChain, and others, is just look at which brands are actually working with them and have actually publicly communicated on it, and that's really been our that's what we've been working hard for, and that's where really we're ahead of all of our competitors, is actual usage by brands of our technology.
That's true. Yeah, you guys have a really deep. It seems that I don't understand why a lot of people are passing over this. I mean, I know it's big over in France and in Europe.
Mhm.
Over in the United States, it's a little like there's really no content on you guys out here. I mean, it's just crazy. You guys have such a great technology. I mean, for crying out loud, you have Fabian integrating with you guys and talking with you, and he was the creator of the ERC20 token standard. I mean, it's like,
Yeah.
how are people missing this one? And it's just
So the big thing, quite honestly, is we've been kind of working. We haven't been communicating too much over the last 3 years. We've really been trying to build and get brands to actually use our technology, and we just started really communicating publicly. In particular with Breitling, launching their first, launching on their entire production on January 1st, with all the different brands that are actually joining now. We're starting to push at the moment, so it's quite normal that people haven't seen us, because we've been trying to build first before sending any spending any significant amount of time on communication, because as you mentioned in the beginning, I'm much more interested in what we're an actual usage and building and actual value than just pumping air, as you said at the
refreshing to
beginning.
hear, man. Because a lot of people say, "Oh, what do you think about this? What do you think about this?" Well, the first question to ask is, "Where did you hear about it? What's so special?" And then they say, "Oh yeah, I heard it from this massive YouTuber who has like 50 million subscribers pumping." And it's like, "Okay, so what's it do?" I don't know. You just said it's cool. It's like, okay, well, then there's the answer to your question. So
Yeah.
last question. I know you got to I appreciate all the time you've taken in this. I know you're
No
super
worries.
busy. You're basically building an empire. But what should we? What are the things we need to take? What should we know? And what are the most important things about your project that we just need to know and set you apart?
Once again, we're going to keep on, keep on signing new brands, keep on adding new products to the blockchain. And what I'm waiting for from the community is come build on top of what we're building. There's really plenty of opportunities, really cool applications. The virtual world application I just told you about. Anybody can build it. It's like we're actually trying to get a few of the underlying bricks started because we really want to see it happen. But you or anybody else could actually build it on their own without even having to ask us anything. And even if you want to come ask us things, we'll be more than happy to actually help you build out what this idea. The success of what we're building is really if the more people use the passports for different applications, the more value it creates for the product owners, and the better it is. So really, we're going to keep on adding new brands, new products, but we need more people to come build on top of it and use that all this base value to create cool application and usage for the product owners.
Okay, great. And you do see like Breitling or Satoshi Studio, you see them using your blockchain or not your blockchain, but your product like more and more every day, like increasing in volume or
They're once again, Breitling is putting their entire production this year on
oh wow, the entire
on
production.
Ariane. Yeah.
Wow. That's
That
massive,
was
man.
good. That's what started on January 1st. Yeah.
Props to you, man. Good job.
Thank you.
But hey, Luke, I appreciate you coming on the channel. I appreciate
Thank you.
the interview, and I appreciate your time. And yeah, I like to close it out with a wisdom one-liner. I always do this on my channel. I'm gonna read it to you, see what you think of it. We're in Proverbs chapter 27. I don't know if you're a Christian or not, but still, wisdom one-liners, Christian or not, these are pretty crazy things.
Yeah.
But we're going to do Proverbs chapter 27, verses 1. It says, "Do not boast about tomorrow, for you do not know what a day may bring." What do you think about that?
I couldn't agree more. The only thing that I can tell you is what we've actually built today to date, and we're gonna keep on working hard and trying to keep on building more. But indeed, you never know, what tomorrow is made of. So we'll keep on building and keep on, being serious about building and not fall prey to the hype that happens sometimes and quite honestly is happening right now with NFTs.
Look, I just picked that verse out of random and you guys already matched it. Good job, man.
Great. Awesome.
Luke, I appreciate it, man.
Thank you very much, Jake.
All right. Thank you. Thanks for watching, guys. If you guys are new to the channel, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button and hit that bell notification. That way you guys can be ahead of the game every time we make a new video. All right, guys, thanks for watching. And without you guys watching, I wouldn't keep doing these videos. But I'm hoping I'm helping you guys. If I am, smash that like button. Go ahead and get started with the triple threat. Go ahead and start with the Celsius account. Here's a referral link where you guys can earn $20 in BTC. Really awesome. Set up a Celsius account, easy to use, and you get crazy interest rates on your Celsius account. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, you name it. The next one in the triple threat is a Crypto.com account. Super easy to use, super easy to set up, really easy to buy and sell on it. I don't like how it doesn't have limit orders, but really easy to use. And here's another referral code for 25 bucks in CRO. Here's the referral link, A8GP, you guys can read it. But anyways, guys, a cool place to buy cryptocurrency on the go. Allows you to buy small altcoins, unlike Celsius. Celsius is more so like your bank account. And the third one, this one is a fun one, Voyager. This one is more so where you can buy with limit orders. It doesn't have as many altcoins as Crypto.com, but it's really easy to use, easy to set up. And yes, this one does come with a referral link as well, and you'll get $25 in BTC. This is how you can do a limit order. Super easy to use, and they don't charge any trading fees whatsoever. Here's the referral link. You can't copy and paste it, but you can look in the description to copy and paste, and you can put that in and set one up. 25 bucks, free BTC. This is the funnest one though. Lolly, free. There is a referral link to this one too. I've actually won 100,000 sats one time on one of the taps, which is worth like 100 bucks in Bitcoin. So it's crazy. Look, and there's even proof in the wallet. Look at that, daily stack, 101. Guys, set one up. It's really easy to do. Download a Lolly account and just set it up.